Well, according to this, I'm live, but half the time you can't tell. They will start shadow banning it the moment I start speaking, because I'm going to tell you what just happened to me yet again. Thanks to a certain rideshare company. There's only two of them. You can figure out which one. They're identical. It doesn't matter. I am stuck driving the very people who were put me out of business. All these illegals that these NGOs have brought in. And you can't avoid it. And most of it is in the worst parts of town in Columbus, Ohio, where there's a certain population that they brought in. So, as you're driving around for these things, they've got an app and it goes off. It just starts pinging. Bing, bing, bing. They give you about 2 seconds, 3 seconds to accept or reject it. Or if you just let it go, reject the ride. Or you can set it to automatically. And when you do that, you get fucked constantly. Well, I'm stuck driving on the freeway, the 71 or the 70 westbound out of Columbus. I take the job. I'm in traffic, heavy traffic. You can't look at the screen. All you can see is the number, how much it is, and they make that big at the top. The rest of it you can't fucking read unless you're sitting still. And when you do that, you still miss it because you don't have time to read it. Like where it's picking up, all that kind of thing. So I just tap it. I'm like, great. At $30, I'll drive back across town. I don't care, $30. It doesn't matter to me where it ends up, in Columbus or south of Columbus where I live. Great. I'm driving. It says distribution center. That's all I can read. Distribution center. See, they're not letting anybody even see me. That's all I can read on the screen. Distribution center. And it's this big. So I'm like, it's got to be one of these, Amazon or somebody out on the west side of Columbus that they put up all these the old Sears distribution center, that kind of thing. So I'm driving, and I'm stuck in traffic anyway. So it's like I cannot stop and look at this thing. The more time you take, they are good at taking them away from you while you're en route. So I'm driving, and then I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm passing everything on the west side of Columbus. I'm driving out of Columbus, and I finally am able to look down in between getting hit by trucks. And it says 16 minutes. Total driving time, 16 minutes to get where I'm picking them up. That's halfway to Springfield. That's halfway to fucking Dayton. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You're sending me to a distribution center, and they've done this to me before. They sent me way out of town, to pick up somebody at one of these bogus jobs at a bogus distribution center. These are the jobs they give them. And then they give them free rides on Lyft. They're not paying for this. They're not paying. They don't give a shit. They're not paying for this. And I'm like, $30 to drive 20 minutes outside of Columbus that somebody may or may not be there. You can't cancel. You get screwed. They shut you off if you cancel more than once. So I drive clear out to this goddamn place. And I'm like, I pull up, and there's no little human icon. They show an icon, a little person, when there's somebody actually waiting at the pickup. No icon, which means, it's another one of these illegals that they've given a bogus job because somebody's booking it out in buttfuck Egypt or New York or someplace. This one, the phone number came out of Pennsylvania. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So there's nobody to talk to. You call and it basically hangs up on you. It says, yeah, you can call and tell us why they don't answer these things. They don't give a shit about you or me or anybody else. So I called twice. I can't get no answer. And I'm just sitting there and waiting at the door of this distribution center. Eventually, I'm like, I should have just canceled right there and said, fuck it, I'm not going to get paid. But I look down, as I'm getting ready to leave, I look all the way down this gigantic building. And this building is like 2 football fields, 3 football fields long, longer probably. One of these gigantic distribution centers. And there's 2 black people down there at the other end, looking at their phones. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding. That's not where the pickup is. It's up here. Look at your app. And it's supposed to show me. So I'm sitting up at the door. They can see it, right? They're too stupid to figure it out. They come down and get me. So eventually I'm like, that's gotta be them. This happened before. I drive all the way down. They get in the car. And immediately she's on the phone just jibber-jabbering in some West African or French Guiana dialect. And they, loud. Really loud. And he's talking loud at her. And I start pulling out. I'm like, if I kick him out now, Lyft is probably going to cut me off anyway because I made a note of it and I said illegal. They don't like that. They're not illegals, they're undocumented workers. Yeah, with phony baloney jobs, and you're giving them more money, and I'm the one that's overdrawn at the bank going broke. I'm the one getting fucked. And I drove all the way out there and I'm like, well, God damn it. Well, maybe they're going back. They better be going back to Columbus. And as I'm driving out, I'm trying to look at the thing while they're jibber-jabber in the back seat. And I look down and it says Springfield, Ohio. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I went halfway across to Dayton to look at this goddamn thing. To pick these people up. I got the sun behind me, so you can't see me, of course. So now I'm going to hold the phone and probably get pulled over by a cop. So I'm looking down at this thing. They're already in the car. I can't kick them out. Lyft will fucking just cut me off right there. And this is the only income I got besides. And then I get screwed on my Social Security and my disability. They cut a couple $100 out of my disability. Somebody's fucking with me big time. Somebody's fucking with me big time. They tried to cut me off from Social Security a couple of months ago. Twice. A few months ago. And I had to appeal it to the state of Ohio. And eventually, somebody that isn't a retard liberal or DEI hire at the county, he says, you can't do this, Mr. Lucas. That's his money. I checked it again, and I'm like, oh, it's showing up late. It normally shows up, so I'm overdrawn at the bank a few $100. The money's supposed to come in, the 27th, and now it's the 28th. I finally get onto the website and find it, and it says, I'm not getting it until the 1st, and it's $100 short, the disability payment. And that's not thousands, kids. That's lousy $300-something, less than $400. And they say, well, no, you get $900 and something, almost $1,000 for disability. No, they take out anything that you're already getting from Social Security. And I'm only getting $600 and something. I ain't getting no $2,000 because I got fucked. Because I took it early because, heart attacks and I'm a fucking wreck. I had to take it early and now I can't. I'm just totally fucked. And now I'm driving 2 illegals from Congo or some fucking place all the way to Springfield, Ohio. And I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. For $30 bucks. 30 lousy dollars. That's what this company, this rideshare company, is giving me to take this trip. I get them all, and I'm doing 90 and weave traffic, biting my lip, because I don't want to deal with these people. I'm like, I should have just, right there in the parking lot, I should have said, no, get the fuck out of the car, but I didn't do it. I'm thinking, maybe it's karma points, I don't know. Whenever I do these YouTube videos, the image just disappears and my signal disappears. They're shadow banning me too, because I was showing an hour and a half in a grocery store, showing all kinds of labels full of poison, and the whole thing was breaking up, unbeknownst to me, and you couldn't read the labels I was showing. That's deliberate. That's the artificial intelligence. That's the AI they have designed, and it's malevolent. And the same thing happened to me just now. This goddamn thing said, oh, I keep getting these messages from this rideshare company. You're doing a wonderful job. You're making more than 80% of the drivers. That's because they're all fucking illegals too. Just sitting in there, or they're not even sitting in their cars. They just got the app on and a phone sitting in, and they're off doing something else. So it looks like they're working. And if you look at the map on the fucking thing, showing the drivers, there's hundreds of them, apparently, everywhere all over town, especially the short north campus. And they're just falling all over each other. The cars are all fucked up. I've gotten stuck there the past few days, avoiding these imbeciles. So there I am, stuck driving these two illegals all the way to Springfield, Ohio. Now I'm on the way back because I wasn't going to stay in Springfield and try to get it work. Even though it was working there, the app was working there, I'm not driving these people all over Springfield. I'm stuck doing that in Columbus. The majority of them are these fucking. So for 20 bucks worth of gas, $30 trip, 3 stops, but they got out at the first one to pick them up halfway to Springfield. The second one zigzagging all over Springfield to this shithole, that they're getting for free anyway. And they clammed up when they saw me turn on the recorder, but I'm going to upload that because it's nothing but it's 20-25 minutes of no road noise, and I can't say nothing. They speak English, but not to each other, of course. So they're in the back. When they realized I had turned on the recorder over the app, the screen recorder, and you can set it so it picks up the microphone, they clammed up. She got off the phone. She stopped yapping at the top of her lungs. He stopped talking. And then I hear them beckoning. They're whispering like, is this guy going to call ICE? I wish I could have. If I'd have seen, because the cops won't do nothing. Cops don't care. They're dealing with that shit on a daily basis. The criminal element that they brought in, they're fighting that shit, every single day. But ICE is nowhere to be seen. It's bullshit. It's a fake. They're not deporting these people. We're not getting rid of these people. They're here for permanently, and they're going to breed us out of existence. That's a fact. That's a fact. White Europeans conquered the world. My people, the Germans, conquered Europe But a certain tribe put a stop to that by taking control of currencies. I'm not going to go into all that again, too. But this is all trickle down theory, and it's fucking trickled down onto my goddamn head. These people are brought here, and I used to say I don't resent these people, you know. Now of course I do. They were recruited by these NGOs and these libtards and these fucking paid organizations hooked up with Mossad and CIA and MI6 and the rest of it. They all work for the same people, not us. And they went all the way around the world saying, come to America. If you're in South America, we're going to fly you directly into the United States, and we're landing at, and this was proven by a guy that calls himself Monkey Works. He's probably CIA too, because they want you to know what they're doing. That's part of the deal. See, this is what the traffic was worse going the other way. They were flying them into military bases and housing them. You know, they weren't bringing them across that was all for show. They don't have to bring them across the border, the southern border. That's bullshit. Even though they were bringing them in. They were bringing a lot more in on chartered flights. Two companies one is called Atlas and the other one's called Coletta. The same dragster guy started an airline, which is CIA, and Atlas is CIA. They run illegal drugs and cargo all over the world, and they started bringing in people with these charter flights. Bringing them to Ohio, they were bringing them to an airport in the middle of nowhere called Wilmington. Not Delaware, Wilmington, Ohio. It's halfway between Columbus and Cincinnati, in the middle of nowhere. This great big distribution flight center, you know, with runways long enough to handle the big jumbo jets. We don't even have that in Columbus, but they were flying them in, you know, because they stopped flying them into Rickenbacker, which is in southern Columbus, because it was too noticeable. You know, people would have been complaining seeing all these third worlders being flown in. How do I know all that? Well, they need to transport these people. And these NGOs are kind of desperate. They were hiring the limo companies and the bus companies to go down and pick these people up and bring them into Columbus. And they were offering such lucrative money that these companies were just doing it. I was driving for one of these fucked up companies at one point. They're located near Columbus Airport. They might still be in business. But, you know, it's owned by some criminal type. All he gives a shit about is money. So they had us going from Columbus down to Wilmington Airport, halfway to Cincinnati. So you're talking, you know, it's 100 miles, maybe more, probably more. And then round trip, it's twice that. They were sending us down there in vans, black vans, and black Mercedes Sprinters that carry like 14 people. We were taking, you know, a half a dozen people down there, or even less, 3 or 4 people from northern Columbus, where all the Somalis are living. We were driving these people all the way down this airport, and they were down there overnight. We would take them down at night and pick them up in the morning. They were down there overnight, get this, making gas station sandwiches. So if you're eating gas station sandwiches, my advice is don't do it. Because some of these people we were driving now, the ones I was driving, these guys smelled like shit. They don't know about sanitation. They wipe their ass with their hand, and then they wipe it on the wall. Literally, they don't know how to use shit paper. Because a couple of them actually were so bad they got fired. I went down, was picking people up, bring them back in the morning. And, their handler was just another Somali woman, all wrapped up in a burqa thing. And a couple of these guys were so filthy and so disgusting, they got fired because they didn't want to work. Eventually, the ones that they were bringing down to fake work just said, we're not going to do this. Why should we do this? We're getting paid thousands per month. I got a brand new car. Why should I go down? And what else was happening was they were bringing in, one guy went down there. This black guy was driving for the company with us. He told me, he says, Howard, they sent me down there just like you and everybody else, dropping, a handful of people off. There's the sheriff's deputy. Well, that's the highway patrol. So, dropping people off, and then he says, in the morning when I went down to pick them up in a Sprinter van, holds 14 people. He said about 30 or more people tried to get on the van. Where the fuck did they just spontaneously, pop out of the ground like dwarves? No. They're flying them in. They didn't have anywhere to put them. They can't let them sit around the airport for too long. So they were trying to get them onto our Sprinter vans. I don't know if the company quit doing it because we all said, we're not doing this anymore. And I think they just gave up the contract, or they just hired some illegals to do the driving. Because if they're bringing in, literally tens and hundreds of thousands of people, Columbus is overrun with them. And now Springfield, Ohio. Yeah, see that Google and YouTube, they're not letting anybody see me. There's one person, and your husband and son. I don't have a chance. There's another cop. That's the reason I usually don't do this, because there's just too many cops on the highways in Ohio. The whole thing is a scam. It's meant to destroy our republic. It's going to happen whether we like it or not. We cannot. The only way for us to fight it, and the FBI will knock on your door if you say it on the YouTubes or in, they'll ban you. But it's going to come to blows. That's what they want. The people that own everything and control our currency. That's what they want eventually. That's why they brought in however many million, 2 million. It's not 20 million people. I don't think they brought in that many. They don't need to bring in that many to fake the votes. But they brought in, they're not bringing in families. They're downtrodden, oppressed families. They're bringing in young men, military-aged men, who are just shiftless and sitting around on street corners back in the shithole countries they're from. They went out and recruited all these guys and said, we're going to take you to America. You're going to live like a king compared to what you're living like now, even though we're going to put you in some shithole hotel in New York or Los Angeles or Columbus, Ohio. And then we're going to get you some apartments that we're going to put 20 or 30 of you in an apartment meant for 5 people. And you're going to love it because it's better than the tin shack you lived in back in buttfuck Egypt. And then, but when the day comes, you're going to pay us back. We're going to give you guns. We're going to give you military uniforms. We're going to dress you up like the American Army. We're even going to let some of you enlist in the real Army just to make it look like it's normal. And then when the day comes, we're going to put you in these uniforms, hand you these guns, and we're going to send you out into the streets of any town in America. And I get all choked up doing this because I'm so pissed. And you're going to start rounding people up, and if they don't like it, by golly, it's going to be just like Haiti. You're going to be allowed to shoot anybody you want, and nobody's going to stop you. But you will take orders, or we will shoot you. And if you don't want to do it, we'll shoot you anyway. So all these guys said, hell yeah, man. I'm going to go to America and live like a king compared to the shithole mud people fucking hole fucking fuck I live in now. So I got screwed. Sent me all the way to goddamn Springfield, Ohio, dropping off a couple of illegals who are getting probably 10 times the money that I'm getting. I'm not even getting enough to pay my... I've maxed out all my cards. I am finally and literally at the end of my rope. I maxed out all my fucking credit cards. I got 5 or 6 of them. Maxed them all. I got them to start a business. What the fuck is that? A harvester. What it is, isn't it? So, I lost my train of thought. I'm just so pissed. Just so fucking pissed. Oh yeah. I'm getting a pittance from the government after COVID, and they destroyed my businesses. Then I had a going concern of bed and breakfast down in Athens, where the university is. That all got shut down. I ended up in court with 2 different landlords down there and beat the shit out of court by myself, pro se, because they didn't have a leg to stand on. They were just fucking evil people. Both locations were perfect for out in the country. Fuck, I'm just so fed up. Then I fought with the SBA for 2 years, trying to get a pittance again of what Biden promised. We're going to give you 2 years of working capital. You're a small business. Well, guess what? All that fucking billions, it went to the big businesses who didn't need the money. Guys like me got fucked. Oh, there's one other wonderful thing. After fighting with DEI hires on the phone, some black lady sitting at her kitchen table telling me that, you got to fill this form out again. You got to redo this. You got to do that. And in the end, I finally got a hold of 2 senators and 2 representatives who basically all they did was make calls and then just shit on me. One of which was J.D. Vance. Thanks, J.D. You're not getting my vote ever again. You and these idiots in the White House fucking me on gasoline. So I'm paying $4 a gallon for gas. I should be paying 75 cents. Drill, baby, drill. We've got more oil. 20% comes from Middle East. Why are we worried about that? We can make that up just, in a fraction of the time in the North Shore of Alaska and Texas. And no, it's all a scam. We've been lied to again and again and again. Oh, then what else happened? Well, I finally get $5,000 here and $5,000 there, just enough to keep my head above water. But they want that back. They want it paid back. Not the billions they gave to these corporations who just kept it, and then the billions that were stolen by the people in government. I think it was 65 billion and counting that was missing, just like the trillions missing from the Pentagon. We just can't find it. Booking error. Oh, but if you do that, so I go to the SBA website. And I'm like, I want to see the record of, the pittance that I got a fraction of what I was supposed to get. I got like a 1/10 of what I should have gotten to rebuild my business. Now this guy's got his turn signal on, and I can guarantee you he's an illegal. What's he look like? Dumb motherfucker. These guys are all over the fucking road, these illegal truck drivers. Out there killing people. Now you'll see them. they're being real careful, you know. They're staying under the speed limit and shit. Like, they know that they don't get pulled over. You know, the companies that are putting them out there, they're probably saying, you know, if you get pulled over, you're on your own, asshole. We'll deport you too. Or we'll put you in a shallow grave somewhere. That's what they do with these guys. Because it's all being run by these criminal gangs from, you know, these shithole nations. But it's all meant to destroy us. Our wonderful republic, the promise of America. Our parents were defended. It's all gone. So, I'm looking at the SBA website. I'm going to say this again. And I look up my company name, Luken Limousine, Luken. That's who I am. I've been doing this since 2002 in Los Angeles. And then back here in Columbus, Ohio, where my family is. So I look it up on the website. There's two different ones. It's Payroll Protection Plan, which was PPP. And the other one was the EIG, something in the emergency, you know, whatchamacallit. And I'm looking, and it says Luken Limousine. I find it. Oh, look. Does it say $5,000? No. One of them says $200,000. And the other one says $300,000. And I'm like, I did not get $500,000. Otherwise, I would have been sitting pretty, and I could have started any kind of business. I would have got the fuck out of what I'm doing, because it's been gutted. This industry has been gutted by the very people that I'm now driving. Here I am driving the speed limit. No, actually, I'm driving faster because they've tore the highway up again. The never-ending road repairs in America, which is also a scam. Sweetheart deals with companies that do fake businesses with minorities. Yeah, we got minorities. We got some couple of black guys that own a construction company, but in fact, we're doing the work. And we do a shitty job every year, so we got to rebuild it another year. We got to repave that again. And the road is shit. You go to, like, Germany, it's beautiful roads. Just beautiful fucking roads. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, probably gonna have another heart attack. $500,000. Where the fuck did $500,000 go? And then I'm looking up the information. It's not me in Ohio. It says Fremont Bank, California, and the address. I look it up on Google. You can see it on a picture. Peninsula Catering. Where have I heard that before? Well, those are the same Mexicans that hijacked my American Express, my Amex merchant account, back in California in 2010, 2011, something like that. The same fucking cartel crook Mexicans with this fake catering business they launder money through. They stole they did it then and they did it again. They thought it was funny. They probably have several companies that never noticed until they get a notice from the IRS. So there I am. I called the guy. Or I called him when I was in California, lived in California. And of course, he can't speak English. He's jibber-jabbering and Mexican. And I should go to the casino. Fuck this. I finally made it back to Columbus. And I'm like, dude, because California wouldn't do anything. Now, American people in government, they wouldn't do anything for me either. Thanks, J.D. Vance. You and another senator and 2 other representatives just fucked me in the ass. And you want to know why people go postal? I'm not threatening the vice president. Fuck no. All those people, they're being richly rewarded. People like me, I'm facing disaster. I mean, literal disaster. I am maxed out. Credit cards, personal loan, line of credit, it's all gone. All gone. And I find myself driving these fucking illegals all the way to Springfield. I got a truck up my ass now. And I'm doing a speed limit. I'm debating whether after that, it's only 7 o'clock. I need the money. I gotta take calls with this goddamn company. But they fucked me. Once they read my note, they'll probably shit can me. Oh yeah, that's hateful speech. You shouldn't do that. Those are wonderful people. They're contributing to society. Yeah. They live a half an hour away from the place you sent them to work. And I know they don't work. They go in there and they sit around with their thumb up their ass. It's a fake job, just like on The Sopranos. You know, how many fucking no-show jobs do we get on this work site? Well, there's 2 of them right there. Fuck. Anyway. Yeah, I was going to upload the recording, but like I said, they clammed up and the camera doesn't work. It just records the screen. And you can't do anything else with the phone or it'll kick off the rideshare app. Fuck. Yeah, they won't let anybody see this. They never do.